A very good morning to you, dear listener, and welcome to a special edition of Perspectives, a current affairs discussion program on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makudi, Benue State. This special edition is sponsored by the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE Makudi branch, as they celebrate the 40th anniversary of the branch. Over the past 4 decades, the NSE Makudi branch has played a pivotal role in advancing the engineering profession, driving infrastructure development, and contributing to the socio-economic growth of Benue State, Nigeria, and beyond. In this discussion, we shall reflect on the journey so far, highlight the key achievements and challenges of the branch, as well as explore the future of engineering profession in the branch, that's the NSE Makudi branch in Benue State and Nigeria at large. Joining us today as distinguished panelists with vast experience in the engineering profession on this edition to drive this conversation. First, the chairman of the NSE Makudi branch, who is a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Ukeyima Mange, is a guest on the program. Welcome to Perspectives, Engineer Mange.
Thank you very much, Nathaniel Nongo.
We are also joined by a former registrar of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Koren. He is a former commissioner for works in Benue State and a one-time chairman of the NSE Makudi branch, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Civil Engineers, and a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. In committee for the 40th anniversary of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Makudi branch. Himself, Engineer Tena Mom, a past Secretary General of the Society, is also with us on Perspectives. Good to have you join us.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
I am Nathaniel Nongo, welcoming you to this Tuesday special edition of the program. And later, the program will be audience participatory. You can call in to share thoughts with us on the subject, and you can do so to 59292. That would be at 11 o'clock. In the meantime, the SMS line, which is available, through which you can also send a text to participate on the program, is 0912-699-9404, 0.agetradiotv.com. You can access our content there as well. You can also listen to us by accessing us on Radio Garden, and we are also available on social media platforms where our content is streaming. Join us to be a part of this edition. I'd like to begin with you, Engineer Atume. As a past chairman of the branch, could you briefly tell us about the history and formation of the NSE Makudi branch 40 years ago?
Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to celebrate 40 years of the existence of the Makudi branch of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. I must begin by appreciating the founders of this branch, late Engineer Bartholomew Uche, Engineer Chief Edward Ojege, Engineer Tosabo, Engineer Nyagba. They were the fathers of this branch. The branch started with very few registered engineers, and today we are proud that we have a large number of qualified registered engineers to practice the profession. So I can say the journey has been difficult, but has been a lot of success. Benue State can boast of very many qualified engineers, and this was prompted by our forefathers. As I said, they did a great deal to promote the practice of engineering in Benue State, and I'm happy we've come so far.
All right. Engineer Mange, you used to pretend currently as the chairman of the branch. In terms of numerical strength, the large number that Engineer Tume pointed out, what is the numerical strength of the branch?
Thank you very much. As at now, NSC Makurdi branch has registered members up to 871 registered members with the Nigerian Society of Engineers. That does not mean that is the only number of engineers we have in the state. We still have other engineers that are not registered with the Nigerian Society of Engineers out there, but they are qualified engineers. And to register with the Nigerian Society of Engineers, you must also be current registered. So that is the numerical strength as at now. Those are the ones captured on the database of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. There are some that are still in the process of registration. When the registration completes, the number might get to 900.
All right. Now, having said that, what were some of the key challenges faced by the Nigerian Society of Engineers Makurdi branch in the early years of its formation, to your knowledge?
Well, we know that back here, our exposure to some of those things were not too much. We're a young state, and so not many of our people were into the practice of engineering, so the strength was low. And then as it is, we normally don't have much companies in this area that support those kind of organizations. Like back here, we know that government also did not support those organizations then. So our forefathers were using their personal resources to carry out whatever activities they needed to carry out. Then NSE had headquarters in Lagos. And for them to participate in the activities, they needed to transport themselves, they needed to take flight here to Lagos to attend the conferences. All these were done with their personal resources. So those were the challenges I believe they had then.
All right. Engineer Moore, how has the NSC Makurdi branch evolved over these past 4 decades?
Well, thank you, Nathaniel. Just like the erudite engineer Tume earlier mentioned, the likes of the late engineer Bartholomew Oche, engineer chief Edward Ujege, and the rest came together and saw the need of getting a branch for the engineers within the geographical boundaries of Benue State at that time. And they were able to satisfy the requirements of the council of the NSC, and then the branch was created in 1984. Mm-hmm. Over the years, those same founding fathers, some of them became branch chairmen, and even those who were not there at the beginning eventually came into leadership positions, and the branch has been growing steadily. Earlier on, you had mentioned that I had served as the branch secretary, but it will interest you to know that I was also branch chairman between 2017 and 2019. So that is how the branch has evolved up to the level where we, the younger ones, were in primary school when the branch was created, have come to give our support, contribute our own quota to the development of the branch in particular and the profession of engineering generally within the geographical boundaries of Benue State. Thank you.
All right. Engineer Tume, I am with you now. How would you describe the impact of the Makurdi branch of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, its impact on community and engineering profession in Benue State?
Thank you very much. Let me just go back a bit. Before 1984, before the formal establishment of the branch, there were a lot of activities, engineering activities, leading towards the formal establishment of the branch. Engineer Ojege pioneered in the Ministry of Works and made sure that engineers were registered. He promoted the Nigerian Society of Engineers before the formal inauguration of the branch. Back to your question, the impact the engineering has played in the Benue community. Let me begin by saying that engineering is development. Engineering is development. Any society that has developed has embraced engineering. And once you don't embrace engineering, you can only be dreaming about development. You will not see it. You can't see development without promoting engineering. Engineering provides water, clean water. Engineering provides communication. Engineering provides transportation, roads, and what have you. Engineering promotes sustainable agriculture. Engineering is therefore, engineering provides electricity. So societies that have developed are societies that have embraced total engineering practice. In Benue State here, we started very well. Very, very well. I keep on mentioning Engineer Ojege, Engineer Tosabo, Engineer Igbeta. They brought us up and ensured that engineering was practiced properly. And I can say with all sense of responsibility that Benue State was rated very, very high. In fact, when the former governor of Benue State, Jan, was leaving Benue State, he called our own engineers to go and establish engineering practice in Gongola. So, your question is the impact of engineering to Benue community, a great deal of impact. We did so much to promote engineering and to develop the community without sounding immodest. When I served as the Commissioner for Works, served as the Director of Benue Rural Development Agency, we constructed so many roads, built so many electricity projects that maybe I can mention later. There was a lot of impact on the communities. And today, I can say that in Benue State, a lot is going on using our own engineers. I can say so. But a lot more should be done. So we have really contributed to the development of Benue State. That's what I can say for now.
All right. Engineer Mange, I am with you. And in terms of jurisdiction, when you talk about the Makurdi branch, does the jurisdiction cover Makurdi as a state capital per se, or the branch comprises the entire state?
The branch covers the entire state.
Okay.
All engineers in Benue are registered with the branch. It is from this branch, when it becomes too large, we can now break out to other branches within the state. We have made attempts to create a branch in Boko, considering the fact that we have Benue Cement there with engineers. We have the Akpara and Oshi Polytechnic engineers and FIDEL. There are engineers in these institutions. We also have engineers in the local government. So we are in the pipeline trying to come up with another branch in Boko. In the same vein, we had made attempts before to see if a branch can come up in Utukbo to cover engineers from the Polytechnic, Benue State Polytechnic. But for now, the branch covers the entire state because we have our members spread all over the state.
All right. Engineer Moore, as a past chairman of the branch yourself, walk us through some of the significant milestones of the NSC development, the development of NSC branch in Makurdi.
Yes. Members of the branch have contributed a lot to the development of Benue State, like earlier mentioned by Engineer Tume. The names he has been calling have been in positions supporting the government at any time to bring development to the state. Many have served as commissioners, either in Ministry of Works or in other ministries. They have been directors general who have served in development agencies like the Benue Rural Development Agency. We've also had engineers who have risen to the positions of permanent secretaries, who have also contributed in one way or the other towards the developmental blueprints of successive administrations. Even now, we have engineers within the government of Benue State offering their professional services, bringing professional ideas to bear on the projects being carried out by the government. Even in the private sector, we've had engineers who have been playing quite some role in projects around town. Because if a government wants to carry out projects, definitely those projects are either by direct labor of staff of the state government, or they are given out as contracts. And many of these contracts have also been executed by home-trained engineers. When I say home-trained engineers, engineers trained within the shores of this country and some beyond, but have been practicing within Benue State here for a long time.
Very well. Now, Engineer Tume, can they share with us some of the key engineering projects or initiatives that members of the Makurdi branch homegrown, how it has evolved over the years, some of the key infrastructure that you were interested to outline earlier?
Thank you very much. Landmark projects. When Benue State was created in 1976, I was then finishing secondary school. The whole network of roads here, you see Makudi, were done by the Ministry of Works. Ujege was then the chief civil engineer with a host of other engineers. Standard projects were executed, road projects. If you see projects like IB, was the governor of Benue State. The stadium, Apreko Stadium Complex, were handled by engineers and architects of the Ministry of Works. The completion of Kotagora Theatre was done by me when I was the Commissioner for Works. We electrified so many projects, so many towns and villages in Benue State, including down here. We started with Wanune. We electrified Agasha, we electrified Daudu, electrified Abensi, Bayongo, Alede, Naka, Abaji, Akpa, so many places. That's from the electricity side. Coming to water supply, the water works has always been maintained by the Benue State Water Board. And water used to flow in Makudi. If you are old enough, you know that water used to flow in Makudi, in Ampa quarters, in Korafa quarters, Lubi quarters, high level, all maintained by engineers of the urban water board. So those are the few projects I can mention, but generally infrastructure projects in Benue State have been designed and maintained by our own indigenous engineers. A great deal of projects. Maybe I may not be able to mention them in this short interview.
All right. Moving away from the past, Engineer Mange, in what ways has the NSC Makudi branch contributed to the development of infrastructure in Benue State, especially in contemporary times?
Nathaniel, there is no way you talk about infrastructure in Benue or Makodi that you will not talk about engineers. The mobile barrack road now was supervised by me. There's a road running from the Naka Road up to Tepo. That is just one. I believe that you yourself know that this station you are in had engineers from the NSC participating in everything here.
Oh, so we owe the NSA credits for.
You are aware of it. So
Yes.
all the roads in Benue are supervised by engineers. You must have the design, you have the resident engineers on all those roads, including the 16-number roads that the Governor earlier has just done. The engineers in the Ministry of Works were on it. I want to let you know that the underpass was designed by engineers of Ministry of Works, who are all members of the NSC. So there is no infrastructural project carried out in Benue that engineers are not involved.
All right. Engineer Moore, how has the Makudi branch of NSC helped to improve the standard of engineering practice in Benue State and maybe the North Central region?
Every current registered engineer owes himself, the Council for the Regulation of Engineering, and the society generally a duty to uphold standards that have been laid down in documents. While studying, we study to maintain these standards, and these standards are meant to safeguard lives and property. Any design that falls short of these specifications will certainly lead to disaster. And one unfortunate thing with the mistakes of an engineer is that the result is there for everybody to see. It's not like some professions where a mistake is made and then the result disappears and then everybody forgets about it. That is why the menace of collapsed buildings is still making the news, because the results of some mistakes, maybe not of engineers, but persons who have impersonating the professionals, the profession, are there to see. People are reminded every day that something was done here wrongly. But for any registered engineer, we owe ourselves and the society that duty, and we always strive to maintain these minimum standards so as to safeguard lives and property.
Very well. Now, Engineer Mange, in terms of quackery, what role has the NSC Makudi branch played in fostering professional development of engineers in the state, particularly to curtail issues of quackery?
Yes, we have been working in conjunction with Koren to be able to check quackery. But first and foremost, it is for the society to know that they need to run away from quackery. Engineers that are registered have a database, and the database contains the names of registered engineers. If you are not registered, you cannot be part of that database. Every registered engineer has a number, either current number or NSC number. But who encourages quackery? The people building. Our clients who want to cut corners. While we try to do the needful on our part, people constructing out there choose to go to look for cheap labor. So in our little way, we try to visit sites in conjunction with Koren to check when these constructions are done and they come to our knowledge. We don't really need to be invited. When we see it, we'll go there. And we ensure that for any construction, there should be a registered engineer on that site. Not just one. There should be registered engineers in all the fields, electrical, civil, mechanical. Sometimes quackery itself is not done by those that are not engineers. It's even engineers. Some engineers go out of their way to do jobs that they don't specialize in. But for us, we do not allow that. If we visit a site, we ensure to check standards on the drawings. We ensure to see the engineer that made that design, and we check all those things. Those are the little ways we have tried to regulate our own members. But if you go out of your way not to engage an engineer because you think it is costly, and you go to say, my father did this long ago, but he didn't use an engineer and the building is still standing, we cannot go do anything. The other thing is, there's supposed to be an ARM, Engineering Regulation Monitoring Team, that is created by Koren. And it embraces all professionals, engineers and other areas, security and so on, which is supposed to be inaugurated by the governor. We have done our best to see how we can get this body inaugurated in Benue. But it has not been easy. But that has not stopped us from going out to do our checks, our normal routine visit to sites to regulate standards and other areas to control failures and so on. So that is how we have been trying to see how we regulate quackery. If you are not a registered engineer and you get to be talking about it and we know, we will call you to order.
All right. So many people bear engineers title out there. But anyway, as we go along, we'll get to understand who should be a registered one. This may be based on the explanation you have given. Dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to a special edition of Perspectives, a current affairs discussion program on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. And this morning, we are focusing on the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE Makurdi branch at 40. And I have here in the studio with me panelists who are seasoned engineering professionals leading the conversation. And later at 11 o'clock, you can also participate on the program by calling in on 0814-335-9292. I take the number once again, 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the telephone line available for messages, which is also available on WhatsApp, is 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. Please remember to include your full name and the address where you are sending your message from. Log on to our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to listen to us and access other content of Agate Radio as well. We're available on Radio Garden, where you can also listen to us. You can also download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, which avails you the platform of the radio, the television online, as well as the newspaper. We are streaming this program on our social media platforms as well. Kindly follow us to be a part of this conversation. Engineer Tume, as a former registrar of Koren, how do you assess the challenges faced by engineers in Nigeria, and how can the NSC Makurdi branch members contribute towards addressing these issues, particularly in the area of quackery, among other issues?
Thank you very much. This is a very good question. In fact, I wanted to actually even refresh what you asked initially about standards of engineering practice and quackery.
Yes.
But it's good that you have raised the question again. First and foremost, the engineering profession is guided by ethics. We are guided by ethics of the profession. And I think other professions also have the ethics. The ethics will guide your role in society. It is the ethics of the profession that will ensure that the standards of the practice is maintained. It is the ethics of the profession that we keep away quackery. In Nigeria of today, there's so much quackery even among the elite. Let me give you an example. You yourself, when you have 10 million naira to build a house, you look for a quack to build a house for you. When your child is sick, maybe you need only 1,000 to treat him or her, you take to the best doctor. 10 million, you can play with it. But 1 million or 1,000 naira to buy drugs, you go to the best doctor. That is what is happening. People are promoting quackery. People carry their money, huge amount of money, and give to quacks to build engineering infrastructure for them. Somebody who has no knowledge about engineering, somebody who has never designed a concrete mix, will now will be building a suspended structure. So certainly it is promoted. But for engineers, the ethics will guide us. It is the ethics that will make us professional. That's what makes us different from others. Now, as the registrar of Koren, we promoted the issue of ethics among all the engineers, and we set up a tribunal. The tribunal is like a high court. If any engineer was found guilty, the engineer was invited to the tribunal. And let me confess here that in most cases of building collapse, we discovered that engineers were not involved. It were quacks. What was happening, or what has been happening in Nigeria today, including the 21-story building that collapsed in Ikoyi, developers will invite engineers at the design stage. The engineers will produce the structural design, everything, they'll take it to the development control. They'll get approval with the engineer's registration number. When they go to build, they build a different thing. At the point of constructing, they don't invite engineers again. So when I was the registrar of Koren, I insisted that development control must engage an engineer who will say he will take care of the supervision from the foundation to the finishing point. And in most cases, the developers will throw away the engineering services and continue on their own. In Abuja, for example, we recommended that the development control should engage consultants in most of their districts. But again, that has not been happening. So if we are promoting quackery, these kind of things will happen. It's like I said earlier, you carry your money, instead of investing it properly, you give it to the wrong person to help you spend the money. It doesn't work like that. Then Koren has as the chairman said, Koren set up the engineering regulation monitoring. Initially, this was to ensure that all engineers were involved in engineering projects. But truly, if you go to a place like Abuja, there are so many projects at the same time. So many projects. You go to Cuba alone, when you hear some of the collapses, so many projects going. Even the development control themselves, until they involve consultants, they don't have the manpower to control. So first is the education. The education is that if somebody comes to you, say it's an engineer, just simply ask the person, give me your registration number. As the chairman of the branch said, because you are spending money, you want the person to help you spend your money. Ask if the person is registered. The person that is registered is guided by the ethics of the profession. He who is not registered can do anything and get away with it. So, naturally, if you are going to spend money from now on any engineering project, even if you are building your kitchen, you need a professional. Even a kitchen, you need a professional. Because the professional will look at the cost properly and give you. Ask the person, are you a registered architect? Give me the number. Are you a registered engineer? Are you a registered builder? Because you are spending money. You are spending money. Not somebody coming to you and say, oh, I'm an engineer. Give me your registration number. I can cross-check. Because you are spending money. You know, somebody comes to you and says, oh, I'm a medical doctor. And you say, okay, please go and treat my child. Can you do that? You want to find out if the person is a qualified medical doctor to treat your child. I may just be fever. When you now want to spend huge amount of money, you hand over that money to a quack. We're promoting quackery in Nigeria. And the consequences are great. The consequences are great.
Let's hope that as NSC Makurdi branch clocks 40 in Benue where they operate, quackery should not be promoted. And how do we work towards achieving that, Engineer Mange?
Well, everybody who is interested in construction must be involved. You in the media here will also help us speak out to advise to people, to follow professionals are already regulating our people. Like I said before, Koren on his own has set up a body to cross-check. But the other problem is we have a lot of lapses, different places. If you go to development control, let's say urban development, where approvals to drawings and designs are being given. I think there is no engineer there, but drawings are being approved. Who is approving it? We must check those areas. But bottom line, like our mentor has said, it is not engineers that are doing the construction. The people out there who wish to construct must involve engineers. If they choose not to involve engineers, then it's difficult to stop quackery. Because all this we are talking about is about cost. They are running away from cost. At the end of the day, the whole money you spent goes down. It might not collapse immediately, but you start noticing cracks. You start trying to patch those cracks. If you did the right thing, you will not even be spending those little monies you are doing to maintain the structure like that. So the biggest problem, while we on our end, we join the media in making publicity, advising the public, we expect that everybody that is interested in construction should follow the right channel, should engage a professional. We have been trying to do wrongs in different places. We know that in Nigeria is one of the places that most of the people do personal medication. Most people go to the chemist and just buy any drug they want to buy. Sometimes for fear of what will happen if they go to the hospital. They have not even gone to the hospital, they know it will be costly. But that is our... When people tell you that the house I'm staying in was built by my father 40 years ago and is still standing, no engineer was used there, what will you tell him? It is his money. You can't force him to give you his money for you to construct for him. So the biggest problem of quackery is in the hands of the public. But we in our end are there. We have so many engineers that are idling around. In fact, it has gone to a point where our services have become so cheap. We are not even following the rules for the percentages to be paid for a particular construction. Why? Because people will not even engage you. So why raise the price? We used to even have draftsmen. Now people who even produce drawings are not even draftsmen. Anybody goes into the computer and produces a drawing and goes to start construction. That is why you can see mechanics are even called more of the engineer than the people who actually go to school. Abi? So everybody that is on the road repairing Okada is an engineer. Every mason that is building a house is an engineer. And who is giving them the opportunity? It is the builders, people who are building. So we cannot stop them. We are there, we have gone to school, we have been talking about this year in, year out. Government agencies have engineers. People know the engineers are there, but they will never engage them. So we are appealing that the public should please seek the services of engineers. Penny wise and pound foolish.
All right. And we hope as you listen, you should be able to do the right thing. Engineer Moore, speak to us on how the Makurdi branch of the Nigerian Society of Engineers has worked closely with the state government and local authorities on engineering-related policy, particularly if so, in what areas?
The Makurdi branch of the Nigerian Society of Engineers has always paid visits, advocacy visits to organs of government that are saddled with the responsibility of making policies, and also organs that are saddled with the responsibility of implementing those same policies. We are not a government agency. We are an association of professionals, and we offer our advices from time to time. We solicit for the right things to be done, the right policies to be made, and for the right implementation of the policies that have been made correctly. We carry out awareness talks in various fora. We also, within our various places of practice, we also strive to maintain these ethics we have so repeatedly mentioned. For those who are not registered or trained engineers, to know that this is what ought to be done for the correct results to be gotten. There are difficulties, there have been challenges, but we're not resting our oars. We'll keep doing it. Chairman after chairman keep doing these advocacies, and we will not relent until we get it correctly.
All right. Engineer Tume, you have seen the engineering profession in Benue, the Makudi branch at Benue State for a long time. Are there deviations from the past, the founding mission and vision the founding fathers of the profession had to what is obtainable currently that you would like to point out?
No deviations. I think there are quite a lot of improvement because of the growth of the profession. When we were younger engineers here, there were no softwares. There were no softwares to design. We were using our hands, doing calculations to design. Today there are quite softwares. I think there's no deviation. I think there's a growth in the profession. However, I like to say something about the issue of engineering and policy, being involved in policy making.
Yes.
You see, let us appreciate the fact that in a developing nation, much of the capital budget is spent on engineering. If you go to the Federal Ministry of Works, over 80% of the capital budget is spent on engineering. Federal Ministry of Works, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, Federal Ministry of Power. There are capital projects that involve huge resources, and these are engineering projects. That is why other nations don't joke with engineering. Because if you get it wrong, you are not getting value for money. VFM. You are not getting value for money. You are spending so much and getting no value for it. So nations take engineering very seriously because huge resources are involved. I will repeat, if you go to the federal budget, over 80% of the capital is on engineering project. Can you joke with that? Federal Ministry of a road, the coastal road is costing 1.5 trillion. 1.5 trillion naira from Lagos to Calabar. Many projects are in billions. Road projects are in billions. Water resources is the same thing. Power is the same thing. Are handled by engineers. And therefore, you require to put in engineering at the policy level to get value for money. If it is not happening, it should happen. Because at the end of the day, that is where you are spending your money. Nations take it very, very seriously. If you go to America now, they're talking about renewal of infrastructure. They rate infrastructure. What is the quality of roads now? What's the quality of our terminals? What's the quality of airports now? They rate it A, B, C, D. Infrastructure rating. At the end of the day, the Congress will say, look, roads have got C+, C-. We have to move roads to C. We have to move roads to C+. That is investing in infrastructure. And they will rely on American Society of Civil Engineers, for example. That look, we want to raise the quality of our roads to C+. Today, look at the nature of our road network, federal road network. It's as if we were in a war. Most of the roads, federal roads, have collapsed in Nigeria. Over the years, they were abandoned. And getting back to them require huge infrastructure. And we kept on saying that involve engineers in the private sector to do the maintenance at the right time. So policy must start to bring in engineering. Policy must start to at that stage, because huge resources are involved. And I keep on saying, huge resources cannot be left in the hands of ordinary people. It must be left in the hands of the right people who are trained to do it, who are trained over the years to do it. If not, Nathaniel, you will spend the money and you will only be retrogressing. That is what is happening in Nigeria. We keep on saying yesterday was better than today. You are a young person, but in the 80s you could drive from Makudi to Boko, Yande, 30 minutes, 35 minutes. 35 minutes. That means people there then were wiser. Today you can hardly move from Amaladu to Obama. The roads will be abandoned. So we have to get it right. Getting it right is getting engineering right. And I will say it over and over again. Once you don't get engineering right, you are dreaming about development. You can't see it. You can't see it.
All right, Engineer Mage, speak to us. When Engineer Tume mentioned that there is progress, and even in terms of tools, my mind quickly went back to those days in the villages where if a hut is to be constructed, a rope will be tied around a stick, and one will draw a round leg around, and that would be the size of the hut, right? So, in terms of what challenges do engineers in Makudi branch face when it comes to access to modern engineering technologies and tools?
Yeah, we don't wait in Makudi to assess some of those things anyway. If you have to wait, you might not get it right. So engineers in Makudi might not be exposed to very high professional infrastructure constructions. But the same engineers go out every year for conferences. They meet their counterparts in those places where new designs are being discussed and different challenges are being looked at. So in Makudi, if you want to count consultants in Makudi, you can count. But outside there, you cannot count. Why can we count? Because first and foremost, the government is not involving the private sector so much. So even if you want to practice here as a consultant, you might not be engaged. So the few we have, we learn from them. Then we go out to get whatever we want to get. So we are as well exposed to whatever software or technology we need to get. Our mentor here in the Ministry of Works have been invited to do trainings to engineers. So there is no engineering software out there in construction, road construction, that he cannot be able to teach. So we have been learning from him too. He's always available to us. And what we don't have here, we go out to get it. If we don't have that, like I said before, the underpass was designed by engineers in Ministry of Works who are members. It was compared with what the contractor brought, and the contractor accepted what they did to be better than his. So we are exposed to all those things that we are supposed to be exposed to. We will not wait in Makudi to get knowledge.
All right. Engineer Mo, we're due to start taking calls soon enough, but before we take a break, speak to us in terms of disasters like flood and water challenges. What role can engineers play towards addressing these challenges around us here in Benue State?
Disasters, just like the word implies, is only something you can forecast, especially flood events. It is if a flood event occurs this year, the probability of that same event occurring again will be in 100 years' time. Listen carefully, I did not say there will be no flooding the following year.
Yes.
I made reference to that particular flood event. So as engineers, trained civil engineers, trained water engineers, we are abreast of studying flood events, forecasting the occurrence of these events, and then proposing mitigation measures, designing measures to curtail these events, and making sure these designs are implemented according to the designs. In a simple way, I'll give you an example of drainage structures. You can't stop a flood event from occurring. It's natural. You can only develop structures that will contain these events when they occur, like building dikes, roadside drains, storm drains, and other flood control structures. This is the best that we can do as engineers in containing these disasters, especially the one you mentioned of flood disasters.
All right, dear listener, we'll take a short breather, and once we are back, we'll start engaging with you. Kindly stay with us. Welcome back from that short break, and thank you for staying with us on iGate Radio. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to a special edition of Perspectives, which is focused on the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE Makudi branch at 40. They celebrate their 40th anniversary, and we're discussing how the branch has evolved over the years. And I have panelists here in the studio. You can participate calling in on 0814-335-9292. The number to call once again is 0814-335-9292. Once you connect with us, we'd like to know your full name and where you are calling from. Kindly make your submission very brief. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Yeah, hello. Yes, good morning. My name is Tehide Kom.
Tehide Kom, where are you reaching us from?
From OGRA.
OGRA in Makudi, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Tehide. Hello, Tehide, are you there? Oh, quite unfortunate, we lost connection with Tehide. But the line is still available. You can call in on 0814-335-9292. The number, once again, to participate on the program as we discuss the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE Makudi branch at 40 is 0814-335-9292. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. You may have questions you want to ask or a contribution to make. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Hello?
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, it does appear we have a glitch with network, but anyway, the our team of telecommunication engineers are working behind the scene, right, to ensure that the network is stabilized so that we get to hear you. We are willing to engage with you on the program. We want to hear your opinion. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on the program.
Yes, what is the thing today?
May we know your name and where you're calling from? We are discussing the Nigerian Society of Engineers at 40.
My name is Odepis. I'm calling from Tanitos.
Okay, Odepis, are you just tuning in?
Sir?
Odepis, it does appear you are just tuning into your radio. Thank you so much. You listen on. We are discussing the Nigerian Society of Engineers at 40, as we mentioned. That is our discussion. You have been listening to the panelists. Please ensure you have a grasp of what we are discussing before you phone in. The number to phone in is 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the SMS line is also available. It's 0912-699-9404. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my name is Aqua Castro, architect.
Okay, good to have you, Architect Aqua Castro. Where are you reaching us from?
From Ona Okupaya here in Makodi.
Good. Go on.
Yeah, I want to first of all salute NSE at 40.
Thank you, architect.
I have few observations from their discussions.
Yes.
One of which is in all of the discussions, laudable points they have raised, they have left out corruption on the part of the engineers. Because some of these failures in engineering projects results from greedy engineers, corruption as well. When money is meant for engineering projects are tied funds for personal use. This can also cause building collapse. Now on that side, I want to also ask, does an engineer who is not registered a quack constitutes a quack engineer? Or there are processes before one is registered? And should such engineer never be used for any engineering project? 2, what is the distinctive role of civil engineering and architecture, or architects, civil engineers and architects? Okay. Should the two venture into the same role?
Okay.
If that is so, does a civil engineer qualify to design building projects for a client? Because I heard them say for you to build your house, you need to consult an engineer, consult an architect. Which of the engineering should we consult these projects we are doing? These have not been specifically elucidated.
All right.
If they are done specifically, we'll be able to know which engineer to meet for which project and for which project. Assuming I'm a layman, I want to venture into building projects.
Thank you.
What should I do?
Thank you, Architect. We'll
Thank you so much.
Thanks. We appreciate you for your contribution. Yeah. Okay. We'll be noting some of the concerns as they are coming. Our architect has pointed out those he have. When we are done with some calls, we'll come back to them. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Welcome to the program. It looks like a kid is playing with the parents' phone. The voice sounds like a kid and is not willing to speak on. But anyway, maybe he's a future engineer. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in on the program.
Thank you. I want to appreciate Mr. Chairman and
yes, we'll be interested to know your name and where you are calling from, first of all.
And the IPC Engineer Mom.
Yes.
This is Engineer Augustine Eke.
Oh, Engineer Augustine Eke, where are you reaching us from?
I'm calling from 401 Brigade.
Okay. 401 Brigade, that's in North Bank, I suppose.
Yes, 72.
Thank you. Go ahead, Engineer Eke.
It's okay. You see, one thing I discovered in engineering is that the problem is a two-way thing. There is problem from our own side with engineers. There's also problem from the administrators, or the chief executive of establishments. The issue is that from, let me start with the administrators. The administrators, contractors, all those hands-on people, those are the ones they regard as engineers. But that thing is very, very wrong. professionalism is very, very key and very, very important. What a professional can see closing his eyes, a contractor cannot see it even when his eyes are wide open. That is one thing we need to know. Now, when I got to my current location, I predicted an accident that happened there, which people have been there, they have been working. The accident happened, they didn't know what caused it. When I just came the very first day I saw it, and I said, this kind of thing will happen. They said it has already happened before. Why? It's because I'm a professional. Now, secondly, there was this time I was discussing with a professional colleague. Now, there is a job they are trying to assign in one of the ministries pertaining energy audit. Now, energy audit is supposed to be taken by mechanical, but in that particular ministry, they were assigning it to an electrical. So I was telling him we should inform the powers that be so that they should correct it. He said those people are politicians, that is how they do their thing, that he's not going to intervene, they should just go ahead and do their things like that. Now, if we see the wrong things and we refuse to say it, then it's our fault. Because
right.
The administrators, they are only there just as laymen. It is we that should guide them to do the correct thing.
Yeah,
so to me, it is a two-way thing.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Augustine Eke, for calling in. Thank you. All right. Your colleague out there, of course, he wants you people to be professional in dealing with the administrators so that the right policies are implemented. Good morning.
Good morning, Daniel.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Thank you. I am called not to do Abraham. Calling you along Makudi Ali Road at Masembaduku.
All right, Corner. Don't tell us where you are standing. That you are calling from us is enough. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, I was a bit taken aback when I heard the buzzing of the radio with the sound of Perspective this morning.
Yes, it's a special edition. We are discussing the Nigerian Society of Engineers Makudi branch at 40.
It's okay. It, however, gave me some joy because I knew that you are going to bring up a interesting topic.
Yes, and we have an interesting conversation. If you are just joining us, it's been an interesting conversation. So if you have some points to make on the subject matter, go ahead.
So, the erudite engineer, Felix Atume, and the rest of them in the studio.
Thank you.
I would like to ask a question.
Go on.
If I have a portion of land that spans up to a hectare like this, and I want to develop it, I have structures, and I have certain things in mind that I want to develop on that land, or I want to put on all of those things. Is it an engineer or the urban development, or who should I approach?
Okay. Thank you, Connor. Could that be all from you?
Thank you. That would be all for now. But I wish
yes,
Felix Atume had become the register for the chairman for Nigerian. That position he was aspiring for.
Okay.
At the national level, I wish he had gotten it.
Thank you very much. He's still in the profession, so God will surely give him one day. We pray so. Thank you very much for calling in, Connor. You have a campaign coordinator. Maybe when next you're contesting for anything, Connor should mind your campaign team too. Well, that's okay. 0814-335-9292 is the number to participate on the program. You can send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404. Good morning and welcome to the program. Hello, good morning. Oh, quite unfortunate network. Really. Maybe it's part of the engineering challenges so we may be facing in Nigeria. Sometimes network will be poor. But that's okay. We're still here and the discussion is on. And we hope that we should be able to hear you. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. My name is Favor. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay, Favor who?
Favor Ugo from Lagos.
Favor Ugo, thank you. Go on. Where you are listening to us via which platform?
Sir, this is a wrong number.
Oh my goodness.
That's right.
Anyway, that's okay, Feva Ogu. It's good that you know that it's a wrong number, so please don't call in again. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
ESV here.
The name is who?
Calling from constitutional government.
The name is who?
ESV here.
Isaac.
Calling from constitutional government.
ESV, that's Estate Surveyor or something. Is that ESV a title?
An estate surveyor, sir.
Okay, Isaac Yeye.
Felix here.
Felix Yeye. Which part of Constitution are you calling us from?
Precisely.
Go on, Felix. Thank you.
Sir?
Go on. Speak to us on the program. Oh, Felix Yeye. Well, that's okay. I think, well, let's put the call temporarily on the hold and respond to the concerns, and we'll begin with, but again, the callers are important too, so just a moment. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us. Your network seems to be breaking. May you change your position so we can hear you better?
This is Patience.
The name is who?
Patience.
Patience. Patience who? Patience, your name is who? My goodness. Engineer Tume.
Yeah.
So sorry. Let's start with the concerns raised by Castro Aqua.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe you listened to him and you
Very
noted,
well.
so there's no
Very
point.
well. Very
yes.
well. And it's an interesting question.
Yes.
Architect Aqua, I hope he's still on the line. He talked about corruption in engineering projects. In 2001, the Nigerian Society of Engineers organized a workshop on campaign against corruption in engineering projects.
I will beg to interrupt you briefly.
Sorry.
Just when I come back, I will allow you to start fresh.
Okay, fine.
Because with this engagement, you need to also hear from people how they feel about what you are doing. So, hello, good morning. Hello. Okay. There again, we lost the connection. But let me allow you begin fresh in 2001.
Fine.
Yes.
He mentioned about corruption
Yes.
of engineers.
Yes.
In 2001, the Nigerian Society of Engineers realized the role of engineers in projects. And therefore, there was a workshop organized by the society at Sheraton Hotel. And the topic was campaign against corruption in engineering projects. Prominent Nigerians were invited. Akombi was the chairman of ICPC then. Obasanjo, key engineers were invited. After 2 days of deliberation, we came up with the need to tackle corruption in engineering projects as management problem. Management problem is that it can be solved using management techniques. And that is what we began with the Public Procurement Act. We pushed for the Public Procurement Act. With all due modesty, I participated in that act with the World Bank. Chibayo was at the World Bank. We pushed, and in 2007, the Procurement Act, National Procurement Act was established. The Procurement Act was to ensure that procurement of projects followed the correct procedure. That is where we have Bureau for Public Procurement. Today, I'm not sure if that is followed. And the Procurement Act said, from conceiving the project, there could be corruption in conceiving the project. From conceiving the project to execution. And that has been the act. But today, I'm not sure if the act is properly implemented. It is as if we are working from answer to the question. They still say this project belongs to this person, this project belongs to this person. So the first part of his question is that yes, corruption in engineering projects has been identified, not only in Nigeria. And the way to tackle it was through the Public Procurement Act, which has addressed all the issues. Number two, he talked about engineers not registered. We have registrable engineers. When you finish from the school, from the university, you are a registrable engineer. You need to work under a registered engineer to gain adequate experience to become a registered engineer. During this time, you are doing engineering, you are practicing engineering, you are doing design, but the design must be certified by a registered engineer. So you are in the ministry or you are in the private sector. I have young engineers under me. When I give them assignment, do I design this? When they design, they bring it back to me so that I can vet and ensure that what they have done is good. That's the way to train them. After 4 years, 5 years, they present themselves to current for registration. Then they become registered engineers. They can operate on their own. So from the university, you come out, you are a registrable engineer. You are undergoing mentorship. You are undergoing teaching by the senior engineers, who is a registered engineer. His other question is what the role of civil engineers and architects. If he's a practicing architect, he knows that on any building project, the architect is in charge. On any building project, the architect is in charge. You have the architect in charge, you have the structural engineer, the electrical engineer, the mechanical engineer. Now we bring in the IT person at that level. I have been participating as a structural engineer on many projects. Architect is in charge. Architect conceives the project. If it's a building project, he says this is how the spacing should be, that. The structural engineer comes to give the strength to that project by designing, like this is how the foundation should be. The engineer carries out the geotechnical survey to know the strength of that soil, the bearing capacity, and the soil, the foundation is built. So the mechanical engineer comes in, will say, okay, this is the spacing, this is the kind of ACs you put. The electrical engineer gives the specification. So on the building project, the architect is in charge. I hope I have answered this question.
Very well. So, Architect Castro, if you are listening, the engineer has clearly established that they know their limits. They know where to collaborate with the architect in doing the job. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. My regards to the guest in the studio.
Thank you.
You are speaking with Dominic Cooper from Chulen, Guma local government.
Thank you for joining us, Dominic.
Yes. My concern is on the area of building collapse. When this phenomenon occurs, there is loss of life and property. So my take on the program is that let the fellow engineers use their satellite on this area to minimize the disaster and fetch out those quack engineers. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you for calling in. We appreciate you. Beam your searchlight and identify the quacks infiltrating the profession so that the challenge or menace of building collapse will be mitigated. You can call in on 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. The line for SMS is 0912-699-9404. Remember, we are discussing the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE, Makudi branch at 40. Engineer Mange, before we engage with more persons, just a moment, I'll get back to you. Good morning. Welcome to Perspectives. Hello. Good morning.
I want to correct an impression.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
I just want to correct an impression I've appeared before.
Okay.
What is happening with the profession is not corruption. It is called systems emergence. The systems emergence that is affecting engineering in Nigeria, not corruption.
All right.
It is true that people are eating one or two things, but it is not corruption, it is systems emergence. Thank you very much. This is Engineer A.K. Augustine.
Okay, thank you, Engineer A.K. Thank you very much. A.K., apart from calling, he wants to also be a co-panelist to respond to. It's okay, Engineer A.K., we appreciate you. It does appear that the passion about engineering issues is there. So, Engineer Mange, you listen to Corner to do it. Whether he has a portion of land, Corner must be a big man to think of developing a portion of land at this time. You listen to him, so yes. Address his concern, who to contact, and the necessary things to be done.
Yes, but our mentor has said it all.
Yes.
If he has a parcel of land, a hectare of land, and he is intending to develop structures on it, the person to meet first is the architect. If he meets the architect, he can give his instruction, and the architect will help him on how to plan his site. There are other areas on the site that might involve the engineer. If the site is irregular and it needs some drainage facilities, then you can come to us. But basically, the first person to go to is the architect.
All right. So, Connor, I believe you are listening. Let's take a few messages that are coming in. We begin from our live stream feed on social media. Felix Bobwa says, you guys are doing well. Keep it up. I think the NSC Makudi branch is doing well on the program and in that practice as well. Thank you, Felix, for your message. From our box here, how can one know a fake and genuine engineer, as we have plenty of them nowadays? Okay, Mazaho from Aga. All right. Before we respond to that, just a moment. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Ades Radio.
Thank you so much for joining us.
This is Moses Shagu from Yagungu.
Moses who?
Shagu.
Moses Shagu.
Yes. S-H-A-G-U.
Don't worry. Thank you. Go ahead, Moses, from your Yagungu.
I want to remember you. There was a time you were hosting quantity surveyors on your radio.
Yes.
They were complaining that government is not recognizing them. And as the engineers are talking there, they have not mentioned them. They are talking of architects and engineers. So what is the duty of surveyors in site? I want to know. They were also complaining that government is not involving them. Thank you very much.
It's okay. Thank you for calling in Moses Shagu from Nyogyungu. I don't know if the engineers will speak on behalf of quantity surveyors, but
we will.
All right. So, Engineer Mom, very quickly, respond to Keimazo. How can one identify a fake and genuine engineer? Maybe he joined us in the course of it, just a refresher.
The one sure way of knowing whether an engineer is fake or not is to assess. Koren has up to 5 registers, and there's a register for engineers. You can access this register on the website of Koren, which is koren.org.ng. We have an online register there where you can check if the person is registered engineer, is a registered engineer, and the person is even actually licensed to practice for that year.
All right. So, Okeima, I believe you have listened. Now, Engineer Mange, give us thoughts, maybe the place of the quantity surveyor on site. You listen to Moses Shagu. Would you like to place it?
Yes, like the name implies.
Yes.
I want to carry out a structure. I have called in the architect. He has come up with a design for me, and all the structure has been put in place. I want to know how much it will cost me to do that. The quantity surveyor comes in to value the house, to value how much is supposed to be spent. That's one aspect. He can also quantify materials, quantity of materials to be used. If you are using blocks, how many cement would you need? How many blocks, how iron, and so on. That is his job. So you will not just jump from the beginning of the project and just call a quantity surveyor. If I want a duplex, I will first design my duplex. When the design is given to me satisfying what I want, I will now want to know the cost of constructing that duplex. It is then that I need the quantity surveyor. He will come and give me the quantity, the different materials required, and the quantity, then the cost.
All right.
I think that's the role of the quantity surveyor.
Yeah, Engineer Tome, I will allow you to you add something to that if you're willing. But let's take one more live stream message here from the live stream feed. Baka Lord, that's the Facebook username, Baka Lord. He says, this is an interesting program when renowned engineers feature on live and interactive programs like this. It helps in educating the younger ones, pulpit engineers, and the general public. It's educative. Keep it up. Engineer Msute Baka, commenting from Cranfield University, UK. All right, thank you, Engineer Baka. We are glad that you made our time to join us all the way from UK. All right, Engineer Tume, help us dive deeper into the place of the quantity surveyor on site and how he collaborates with the engineer.
Well, thank you very much. The chairman of the branch, Magre has said it, but I'll just add a bit.
Yes.
Being a consultant, on any building projects, the consultants are listed. The consultants on the building project is the architect leads the team. You have the architect, the structural engineer, the electrical engineer, and the mechanical engineer. Sometimes the electrical and mechanical come in MIE, called mechanical and engineering services. Then you have the quantity surveyor. Now we bring in the IT person. These people are all relevant. The architect's design is a 10-story building. The architect designs, you say, okay, these are the spacings, this is how it's supposed to be. This. After that, the architect passes that to the structural engineer. The structural engineer designs the strength of that building, the skeleton. He gives you the skeleton, right off from the roof to the foundation. After that, the electrical engineer comes in. Say, this is how the electricity is going to be supplied here. This is the cabling, this is the sizes of cables. The mechanical engineer comes in and said, oh, this is where you're going to have the air conditioning system. This is where you're going to do the plumbing system. All this is passed to the quantity surveyor to bring out the cost on a building project. That's the role of the quantity surveyor on a building project. And you see most government, the board, construction board, you see the architect, the structural engineer, the electrical engineer, and the quantity surveyor. They're all stated there very clearly. So the quantity surveyor is quite critical in a building project, and it's a consultant in a building project. In the Ministry of Works and Housing, they also play a very key role. When I was building a Benue Plaza, Abuja, as the Commissioner for Works, I had a team of architects. One of the leader has just passed on, Architect Igba. May he so rest in peace. Architect Igba was the leader. We had Oche, who was a quantity surveyor. Oche has also passed just about a few months ago. May he so also rest in peace. We had the engineer Mande. We had a mechanical engineer on a team. That's from the ministry. So from the ministry too, when the contract is given, they also have formed that team to supervise the project properly. So the quantity surveyor is quite critical on building projects.
Very well.
That's why it's trained. In America, it's not called quantity surveyors, it's cost engineers. America call it cost engineers. Britain is quantity surveyors. But in America, it's cost engineers, because cost engineers will now go into engineering projects.
Very well. All right. So, Moses, I believe we have also added a voice to that aspect, which you wanted to hear. That's okay. The number to participate on the program, once again, is 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. We are discussing the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE, Makudi branch at 40. You can also send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404. Engineer Mom, I will ask you, are there any significant partnerships with universities and academic institutions within and around Benue State in terms of collaboration by the branch to strengthen the engineering profession and its study and research?
Yes. The Nigerian Society of Engineers has a student membership and divisions of these divisions. These divisions I'm referring to like the Nigerian Institution of Civil Engineers, Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers, and so forth. They have the mandate of establishing collegiate chapters of these divisions. Here within the branch, the NSE Makudi branch from time to time visits these collegiate chapters of divisions to give them trainings, to give them pep talks, and to monitor progress in their schools. The colleges of engineering are in collaboration with the branch on all their activities, including general meetings. The students come for our general meetings on every last Thursday of the month. They partake in our activities. Even the 40th anniversary, they are involved in every planning and that's a collaboration the branch here is having with institutions.
All right. Now, Engineer Mange, now let's talk about the patronage of indigenous engineers. Are you satisfied with contracts?
Not at all. That question is very important. The indigenous contractors or engineers are not well patronized by government at all. You are in the state, you are also aware of projects that are ongoing. You will also know that most of the projects are handled by expatriates. But we keep talking that government has a policy of, what do you call it?
Local content.
Local content. But are we really carrying out that policy? In the previous government, yes, we will say there were some local engineers that were carrying out projects. For now, I don't think there's any. So even as consultants, we don't have the local engineers engaged as consultants in most of the projects. If you are giving the expatriates, maybe you should give the consultancy to the local engineers. Then they have a role to play. Since that job is their own, I think they will be very serious with it to ensure that nothing goes wrong, or they will share that the government is not shortchanged. But I really want to say that we have so many engineers out there that are not engaged by government. Those that have tried to even go into private practice are also not finding jobs. So I wish that government will be hearing, and we know this question you have asked, that we are out there crying that we have the knowledge. We are very much fit. And like our mentor earlier said, if we must grow, we don't need people coming outside to come and do these things for us. Things that we can do for ourselves, we will do it with more commitment. But we keep giving out to people who come in to make money. They are not coming to do anything better for us. They are coming to make money. But as local engineers, you will be doing it and knowing that you are making your own contribution to it. So our local engineers can be engaged. I pointed out earlier that the design of the underpass was done by our engineers in the Ministry of Works. Why do the design?
That's the one in Makudi at high level?
Yes, both the one in Makudi and in Boko.
Okay.
Why do the design and carry and give it out to somebody else to do when you can still do it yourself? So we really need to do those things to show the world that we can do it. When we give it out, we're trying to say that we don't have the expertise to do these things. So we appeal to government to try to involve. We appreciate this government too, that yes, it's giving appointment to engineers in the periphery. We have a lot of GGs that are engineers, but we do not have any commissioner as an engineer. But we have about 7 or 4 ministries that are engineering based. Ministry of Works, Power, Agriculture, Water, all those ministries are engineering based. But we do not have any engineer manning them. And that is where policies are being made. So those people heading those positions will come back and inquire for engineers before they go defend it. So I really want to emphasize that our engineers are not engaged. Government should try to look at it.
All right. Engineer Tume, you are one of the best that have emerged from Benue State as an engineer. Are there any factors that are militating why government may not be patronizing local engineers as alleged by the chairman? But just a moment before you respond. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
My name is Godwin Yoha. I'm calling from Judges Quarters in Makudi.
Thank you, Godwin Yofa.
Thank you very much. I most appreciate the program and the guests in the house.
Thank you.
I need to, as you call him, Felix Atume. I know him very well when he was a commissioner minister, so I was a little boy then. We were neighbors, I knew him very well.
Oh, good.
Yes, and I'm sending my season's greetings to him.
All right, go to the subject matter. The season's greetings, we have dedicated airtime for that. You come by airtime and greeting, especially. Yes.
Okay, sir, you see, let the truth be told.
Yes.
I must say I appreciate the engineers in the state. They are doing a good job. But engineer, I'm not going to mention the name.
No, we do not encourage to.
Yes, I know I have of an engineer, and I know of a project he was handling here in Magadi during the Susan's administration. Sir, it was in front of the road was just passing, the street was passing in front of my house. So they seen photos, and we're imagining there was an engineer here from Ministry of Works. I know him very well, and he knows me very well. Then we were wondering, and when you go about the town, during those days we're talking about in the past administrations, many of the roads constructed will not even last up to a year, and you start seeing things that with the quality of work being done now, irrespective of the engineers in the state not being used, for me, I prefer what is happening now than what we used to have in the past. Generally speaking, the quality of the work that is being done now than giving a state engineer who will turn his face at the back, collect money from the contractor, eat and abandon the work, and the other person.
That's an allegation, which is a sweeping one. Do you have evidence to adduce to that? If you do not have it, it will only be too general to say so, to assume. So on programs like this, we speak on facts, not assumptions. All the same, thank you, Godwin Yofa, for your contribution.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you. Okay, Engineer Tuma, you were about to speak to us on government patronage.
Yeah, thank you very much. I normally call indigenous engineers and local engineers. I say indigenous engineers.
Yes.
I put it that way.
Very well.
It's more fitting.
Yes.
You see, let me give the example that you know. You are the one in this studio. Not a Chinese, not a Lebanese. If you go to Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, the people casting news, they are not from CNN. They're not from BBC. If you go to NTA, the people casting news are not from CNN. You were allowed to begin to cast news, and today, Radio Benue has produced so many journalists. They were allowed to cast news as indigenous casters. And today they're everywhere. When JF Kennedy became the president of America, he called American scientists and engineers and said, I need the American must be the moon. No American had been to the moon. And he didn't ask the engineers that, look, go and bring Chinese or Russian to send people to the moon. Americans must be on the moon. If you want to develop, you have to patronize your indigenous people. Give them the challenge. And engineering is about challenge. Somebody is talking about a road project. If you start a road today, certainly you are not going to get the highest quality from that contractor. But if you patronize that contractor over and over, you are going to see improvement. Arab contractors in Egypt, that's the major indigenous contractor in Egypt. They don't give out any job to anybody. If I'm giving a complex job as an engineer, I will know where to go and get good hands on my own terms. I can go to London now and say, look, I need this kind of specialist on my own terms. When they come, they work on the way I want it done. Tomorrow, I will develop that capacity. Because engineering is expensive. It's not like just opening a small place, you want to consult. No, if you want to go into construction, it's expensive. The jobs can be hundreds of millions, not in billions. If you don't have the jobs, how do you develop? How do you develop? And will you develop by bringing other foreigners all the time? When COVID came in here, these people ran away. Most of these people ran away. Indigenous contractors will not run away. As the chairman was saying, I have a stake in Nigeria. And I've been saying this over and over. I'm happy Jordan Obasanjo. Let me just go back. Jordan Obasanjo, we clamored for local content in oil and gas, and we got it. Then Kupoluku was the group general managing director of NNPC. We got local content. We said, look, our engineers should be involved in oil and gas. From the engineering. That is what Petrobras In Brazil, they started with engineering, and today they are competing with Mobile of America. If we don't involve indigenous contractors deliberately, I say deliberately, you give them a job, they may not do very well, you sanction them and give them another job. Of course, if you involve 3 people, you will discover that one will be doing very well. That will be promoted. The other ones will learn from them. But if you are relying almost wholly on foreigners to develop your country, you are dreaming. Again, you are dreaming. And that is the problem we have today. The problem we have today in Nigeria. I don't want to localize it to Benue State, but that's the problem we have across the country. Major construction jobs are given to Lebanese, they're given to foreigners because they have a better skin or maybe a white skin. And we can't develop that way. I say with one sense of responsibility that we have to imbibe indigenous contractors, patronize them, sanction them, and if you have 3, 1 will be good. If you have 5, 2 may be good. At the end of the day, you will get indigenous competent contractors. Just as today, as I started, you have very good newscasters in the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, NTA. We didn't bring them from London. We didn't bring them from CNN.
All right. That's okay. We'll come back to that. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Nat.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, my elder brother from another modern engineer, Felix Atuma in the studio.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. This is the voice of Mark. I want to be the father from Chehaga local government.
Okay, Mark.
What I may like to say is that I may like to appeal to the federal and the state government to always engage the indigenous engineers on the contract that are being awarded from the federal and the state government, because we know they go far and wide and they have the talent to display. So I think whenever the indigenous engineers are being engaged in our contracts, in our domain, I think if they do well, I think they do for themselves, and if they do bad, they also do for themselves. So I remember, and if you see backward, you will see this ongoing Tarako and then Naka road that is being constructed. You know, there are some engineers that are handling some contract there that have a discriminate action on other communities. Comparing the big road linking Matanya community here along this road, there is just no cover that is being constructed there, which is supposed to be constructed. And see, when the rainy season comes, you will see that all the particles that we use our local construction there being flushed away. So we rather appeal to the engineer that was handling this cover, which link the River Gwe, that the cover needs to construct it there. But eventually it wasn't constructed. So if we engage the indigenous engineers, I think they will know the challenge of the communities there to do the needful.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much for calling in. That will be the last call we'll take because our time is gradually ticking away. Let's take a message, one more. This one says, Atse Kwasido from Achusa. She says, aren't they a regulatory body checkmating current certificates because the rate at which some engineers forge this certificate is alarming? Yet again, we have an allegation here. Is it true that current certificates are forged by engineers? Engineer Mange?
It's not possible, because everything about current or engineering has a process. You have to fill forms, you have to go through trainings, you have to write reports of your experience and submit. And people check it, and the certificate is not given in one day. And it's not only certificate that is given. When you are registered as a core engineer, you are given a seal. And that seal holds your number. Anywhere you paste it, if there is any problem, they will refer to you and you are held responsible. So how do you go doing anything, putting your seal if you just went down? How did you get it? You cannot access it in any back door.
All right. So that is established. Anyway, anybody, when an allegation is made against them, they will have a right to defend. So you have defended yours. But talking about local content, Engineer Mom, when Engineer Tume was talking about local content patronizing our indigenous engineers, I've not been overseas, but in the books I have read, I've seen in the news, and it is often said that in the health sector, for instance, some of the best brains are Nigerians. Just lend your voice on patronizing local content around us here, indigenous contractors, briefly.
It is the same with engineers around here. We have about the best brains in the profession to around here. Before you hear his Engineer Tume, you've heard accolades of him, you've heard of his achievements. Engineer Mange made reference to a road he supervised recently before his retirement. I have been around too in the government. I've been involved in flood and erosion control projects and currently water supply, production and distribution projects. We have people around. We've mentioned people like Engineer Ojege, the late Engineer Oche. We are around here. We've been running projects around here, designing, constructing, and running projects around here. What else? How else can we show this?
All right. Having said that, Engineer Mom, I'm still with you. You are the chairman for the Central Planning Committee for this 40th anniversary. What is the lineup of activities, part of this program, which you are having? Briefly, in 1 minute, because we are gradually drawing our concluding thoughts.
On Friday, the 27th of December, by 5 p.m., we are going to be holding induction of new corporate members. We are going to be recognizing the pioneer members of the branch and those who have supported the growth of the branch over time. And then the dinner itself will also hold. The venue is a Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria office here in Makurdi. And then on Sunday, the 29th of December, we will be holding a Thanksgiving Mass to thank God for his protection these past 40 years. And it will hold at the Catholic Church of St. Joseph in Yiman. Time will be 8 a.m. These are the activities lined up.
We are all cordially invited. I get ready to invite.
Yes,
let me invite. I get
you
ready.
are all invited.
Okay, that's fine. Engineer Mange, what are the main goals for the NSC branch in the next 5 to 10 years? You should pretend as the chairman.
Yes, while we continue to emphasize on our ethics, we continue to develop the young ones, we look at our welfare. NSC Makurdi branch has purchased a land and we hope to put up a secretariat of our own. Oko, who served from 2015 to 2017, Engineer Mom came on board and was able to get the certificate of occupancy, and we are now sure of the land, and we believe that successive chairmen will do something about it. I hope to also secure it, possibly if I start fencing it, to avoid trespass. So in 5 years' time, we should have a place of our own. If we have support from government and other organizations, engineering-based organizations, including Agate, we'll be able to put up an edifice that will depict engineering.
Very well. You cannot be helping to build other person's edifices and not have your own edifices. So it's good. Engineer Tume, your co-panelists, both of them refer to you as their mentor, not just to them, but other engineers. So I'll allow you to give the concluding thoughts. As the NSC Makurdi branch celebrates its 40th anniversary, what message would you like to share with young engineers aspiring to make impact in the profession? This should be your concluding thoughts.
Oh, thank you very much. First, I would say that to whom much is given, much is expected. Engineers must be ethical. Engineers must defend the engineering profession in their practice. Engineers must maintain standards of the engineering profession. I've listened to callers. They expect higher standards from engineers. Of course, some of the people they refer to engineers are not engineers, but those who are in the engineering profession must maintain very high standards. The younger ones should consider the relevance of engineering. It's not just about making money. The relevance of engineering to the community. The relevance of engineering to the community. Engineers are problem solvers. We should be relevant to the community. It's not how much money one has, but how relevant is one to the community. So I keep on saying that if they expect so much from us, we also have to come out and say that, look, let's justify what the public is looking out from us. So to the younger engineers, it is the time to be professional. It's the time to be ethical.
All right.
Because the society looks up to us to provide solutions.
In the next 40 years, where do you see the branch being?
The branch is growing.
Yes.
It's growing. In the next 40 years, I think I'll just simply it will be great.
All right. That would be a fine place for us to leave it. But just before we leave, one more message here which says, good morning, presenter, with your guests. Only a colonial mindset that think we are not good in building our own infrastructure. We must begin to build our things by ourselves to appreciate our gifts and talent. Thank you. Joe Kennedy from Makudi. Joe Kennedy, thank you very much. And that will be all for today's edition of Perspectives, which will discuss the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSC Makudi branch at 40. Engineer Felix Atume, former Registrar Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, a former Commissioner for Works in Benue, and a one-time chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, a fellow of the society. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on this edition of the program.
Thank you very much.
Of course, the chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Makudi branch, himself a member of the Nigerian Society, National Engineer Okeyema Mage. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Nongo.
Thank you. And of course, the chairman of the Central Planning Committee for the 40th anniversary celebration, Engineer Tena Mom. Thank you indeed for your time.
Thank you. It's been a good time.
Dear listener, that's our program today. Join us tomorrow, Wednesday, for our regular edition of Perspectives, which will be the Christmas edition. We wish the Nigerian Society of Engineers the very best as they celebrate their 40th anniversary, and compliments of the season to all of you out there. I am Nathaniel Nongo. Goodbye.
Thank you.